Assalamu alaikum students. We are in part 3 of our lesson, which is about roots. If I am asking you a question, what are roots? I am expecting the following answer. Roots are the part of plants which are in charge of absorbing nutrients and water. This is correct, but more details. Which type of cells made roots? How they are absorbing water? How is the tissues arranged inside the roots? All these questions, we will see them together inshallah, while we will be analyzing the picture that we have on the board. You can open your books, page 517. The structure of a root, which is illustrated in that picture, shows that the tip of a root is covered by the root cap. What is a root cap? It's the part that helps the plant to grow. Even though we are talking about roots, but even roots, they grow up. What is it made of? It consists of a type of cells that we already take in part 1 of our lesson. So, it consists of parenchyma cells that help protect roots tissues. Remember, parenchyma cells, they are undifferentiated cells who are helping the support and the protection of the plant. Then, the layer which is beneath the epidermis, it's called the cortex. What is the cortex? It's composed of ground tissues that are involved in transport and storage. Let me remind you again, the ground tissue, they are the type of cells that do not belong to any other group. Obviously, they are summarized in 3 types of cells: parenchyma cells, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. All the 3, or at least 2 of them, they are providing protection and support, and they all help the storage of food, water, and dissolved minerals. After the cortex, we have another layer of cells called endodermis with a Kasparin stripe. This layer helps, as you see here, the movement of water through it to reach the other places. And the last part, we have a layer of cells directly next to the endodermis toward the center of root, which is called the pericycle. It's the tissue that produces the lateral roots. So from the picture, what did we notice? We understood that roots are made of 4 types of tissues, starting with the epidermis, which is considered as the external layer, as you see here with the brown color. Then the cortex, after that the endodermis, and the last part is called, or the last kind of tissue is called pericycle. Talking about the types of roots. The 2 major types of root system are taproot and fibrous roots, as you see here shown in the picture. A taproot system consists of thick root with few smaller branches, as you see here in this carrot. 1 main part and small branches. Okay, the main part is here and the branches. Branching roots. Some plants such as radishes, beets, and carrots, as shown in my picture, they store food in the parenchyma cells of the taproot. Okay, so what do we have here is the stored food. While the fibrous roots, obviously, they are too much branched. We don't have a main part or main structure. All of them, they nearly have the same size. In this case, we have the advantage of the ability of this type of plants to absorb a huge amount of water in a very short amount of time. Does it mean that we have only these 2 types of roots? No, but they are the major 2 types of roots. We have other types, such as modified roots, which are roots that change their structures to adapt to their environment, such as ficus, maize, mangrove, and pandanus. So, the 5 types of roots we already talked about, they are summarized in the table here with additional option, which is the function of each type of roots. Taproots and fibrous roots, which are considered the 2 major groups of roots, they provide both of them anchor for the plant or support. Taproots, they provide food and water storage, And fibers, as we already talked and we said, they have the ability to rapid water storage. Okay? For the modified roots, they only anchor plant. Regarding the pneumatophore, they supply oxygen to submerged roots. Remember, we said that they have some parts outside of water, and the last part, which is the prop roots or the adventitious root, they support the plant like all other type of roots. Well, the next part in our lesson is talking about another part in the plant, which is called stems. While you might know that asparagus spears are stems, you might be surprised to learn that there are many types of plant stems. Some stems, like asparagus, are soft, flexible, and green due to the presence of chloroplasts, and therefore can perform photosynthesis to produce their own food. These stems are called herbaceous. So if I want to give a very short summary to herbaceous stems, like I am highlighting here in red, I'm going to say they are soft, flexible, and capable of photosynthesis, and this is due to the presence of chloroplast in this part of the plant. See, this is an example of herbaceous stem, which means it might look like thin green color. This is due to the presence of chloroplast. They are soft, flexible, and they do also photosynthesis. Most annual plants have this type of stem, but in comparison to other type of stems, such as palms and bamboo, they have rigid fibrous stems. Trees, shrubs, and many perennials have sturdy woody stems that do not carry on photosynthesis. Some older plants have stems that are covered with bark. This tough, croaky tissue can protect the stem from physical damages and insect invasion, and even in some cases to prevent some forests fire because of the presence of that bark that covers their trunk. An example of the woody stems is shown here down with this brown color. So this type are very rigid, very solid, which means they are opposite to the first type. They do not do photosynthesis. Mostly it's present not in small plants, but in general in trees, palms, and bamboo trees. The main function is to provide support of leaves and reproductive structure, and this is talking about what is the main function of stems in general. Here it is highlighted in purple. The structure and the function of stems we already started talking about. We said they provide support and help to the other part of the plant to stand. The apical meristem produces cells that increase the length of a stem. See, the apical meristem, to keep reminding you, because I believe that most of you, they forget. What does it mean, apical meristem? It's shown here in my picture that I've displayed to you. This is a plant. The top here part is called apical meristems. The apical meristems is helping the plant to grow or to increase in height. Okay? So the apical meristem produces cells that increase the length. See, as I told you, let's use our words and to say the height of the plant. As plant grow taller, an increase in stem diameter, see, the stem diameter is also very important, provide additional support. The growth in the diameter is guaranteed by the presence of the tissue or the group of cells which are called vascular cambium. Let's remember, what does it mean, vascular cambium? Going to the next slide, in a cross-section of the stem, you will observe here the vascular cambium. Do you see this part of cells here? This is what we call vascular cambium. So the vascular cambium actually, it's helping the increase of the diameter. Okay? It's helping the increase of diameter, starting from here and going outside to help also the support. These cells form annual growth rings in some plants. particularly trees, which can be used to determine the age of the organism. Do you see here? Every type of tissue or cells, they are looking like rings. So the annual growth of these cells, they are different than the next year cells. So when you made a cross section in the stem, you can observe how much they are these rings, and accordingly you can identify the age of that tree. In the next slide, we will see a real trunk of a tree in which you will see the different rings formed by the different layers of cells, and accordingly scientists, they can identify the year or the age of this tree. Going now to the types of stems, as you see on your book, page 519, we have a table that summarizes the different types of stems. Stems are plant organs, and all stems have adaptation that help plants survive, as shown in table 6. In some plants, these adaptations enable stems to store excess food, and in the other plants, they help withstand drought, cold, or even heat. The first type of stems is called tuber. You can find it in white potato. Its function is to food storage. Rhizome. In iris, its function is food storage, asexual reproduction. The type of runner, you can find it in spider plants. It is helping the asexual reproduction. Bulb. Naracesh, you can find it, or the function is food storage. We have the last type, which is called corm. You find it in crocus. It is helping food storage. So obviously those are the types of stems. Please remember that most of them, they are either helping food storage or helping the process of reproduction in plants. I think we reached the last part in this lesson. If you have any question, feel free to ask me. I will be waiting for your questions. Hopefully that you understand. See you in the next part and the last part of this lesson. Thank you.